You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, the federal government of Nigeria has rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that Nigeria is religiously intolerant, calling it an unfair and inaccurate portrayal of the country. Now, Trump had recently threatened possible U.S. military action and proposed listing Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged attacks on Christians by Islamic militants. Now, in response, the Nigerian government stated that citizens of all faiths have long lived, worked, and worshipped peacefully together, emphasizing the nation's tradition of tolerance and diversity. The presidency also confirmed that President Bola Tinubu will meet with President Trump soon to address the issue. Now, joining us in our studio in Abuja for this conversation is President CEO Security Watch Africa Initiative. He is also a security consultant, Patrick Agbabu. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? Good morning, sir.
Well. Thank
it's
you
good
so
to
much.
have you on the show. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, this is a topic that is on the lips of every Nigerian, not even Nigerian, everybody, all around the world. They have been speaking about this. We saw the threats that came out, from U.S. We saw the tweets that Donald Trump put out. And Nigeria continues to say that this is not true. This is not what is happening. People of all religions are dying. It's not just about Christian or Muslim. But what do you make of this? What do you think that this tweets that U.S. has put out, what do you make of it? What is it going to happen to Nigeria being a sovereign, country?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just like you rightly said, that is a topical issue now everywhere you check on. First and foremost, I agree with you and the federal government position that no particular religious group or members of any religious group is being targeted in whatever it's happening. Yes, the truth is that people are being killed. It's sad that people are being killed, but both Christians and Muslims and even the traditional worshippers are also victims of the killings. So to say that there is a genocide against Christians in Nigeria, it's not true. It's far-fetched. That is just a small screen for the real agenda, which is actually to get a foothold into Nigeria, possibly for issues of concerning resource control. You know that the U.S. President Donald Trump is a businessman, and he's going around looking for how to advance the economy of his country. And any country that is willing, or he can bully and accept, and he will negotiate with them and all that. So really, it's something that calls for some bit of a lot of backdoor diplomacy by the government, and this is not a new thing. It's been all this while being clamored earlier in 2020, 2019, 2020. We had the same issues, and there was a movement to get it sorted out, and now it came up. I expected that when the rumors or when some sector or some persons in Nigeria started making some trips to the United States and having meetings with some persons in the United States on this issue, that the federal government should have instantly countered it. Unfortunately, as we speak, Nigeria do not have any ambassador in any of our foreign missions abroad. So there was no way any serious diplomatic missions could be undertaken on this to make it before it gets to this point. But I tell you that the threat posed by this, it's something that the Nigerian government must not just fold its hands, because some Nigerian citizens are also fueling it and supporting it. So it's something that we must work at home here, and also use a third party and a backdoor diplomatic missions to be able to get it resolved.
That's a clean answer you gave to us there. I would like you to clarify some issues so that the average Nigerian watching right now will understand. what is the consequence of a sovereign nation sending soldiers to another sovereign nation? Interpret that for us.
Yeah. The whole world came up and condemned Russia when Russia invaded Ukraine for its reason, and the whole world and NATO, led by the United States, joined forces to try to defend Ukraine and all that. It's wrong for any other sovereign nation to invade another sovereign nation for whatever reason, and that is the truth. Any nation you want to go for any security operation or military operation, you must get approval from that country, because no matter how small or how poor a country may be, so long as it's a sovereign nation, it has its own sovereignty, it has its own powers and authority. And so it's wrong for the United States of America to threaten or to do that. I believe that it will not happen. It's a way to get Nigeria maybe on its knees. We know that since January 2025, there were some move. There was a request, backdoor request to Nigeria to accept some prisoners from the United States, and the government rightly rejected it, and that has not sit well with the government of the United States. Our neighboring country, Ghana, after pressure from the United States, accepted it. Don't forget also that just about some few months ago, there was also the threat, the accusation on South Africa that there is a genocide against the whites in South Africa, and there was also similar threats that they will be invaded, and the whites are encouraged to come to U.S. and come and get a home and all that. But with backdoor diplomacy, the thing was effectively resolved by the South African government and its people. What is remarkable there is that South African citizens rallied behind the government of South Africa for that to be resolved. What we need now is a government in Nigeria that will have the intent to get Nigerians to understand that whether the threat actually happens or not, Nigerians must support when our country is at threat by another country. There's no other country than Nigeria. So at this time, governments have a lot of work to do, but unfortunately, we cannot deny the fact that there are killings going on in the country, not just in the Middle Belt, not just Christians that are being killed. As we speak, there are some attacks here and there in some countries, in some part of the country. But so government must also intensify its move and prove that it has the desire to actually stop all these killings. The security agencies are doing their enormously well as we speak, but the sub-national governments have not done much. That is where I will put it. The truth is that our state governments and local governments have not done anything to help the situation we find ourselves in terms of insecurity. Until they put hands together with the federal government, we will continue to have, sadly, these killings.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for your input. And I must say, it's very worrying to see the sentiment online. A lot of people are saying that this is very hypocritical of the American president, because there have been claims that he has funded a genocide in Israel, and he has left, the U.S. has left many countries worse off than when they first met them. So people are saying this is very hypocritical. The Nigerian problem is more than just religion. There's governance failures, there's been issues of tribalism. We have plenty of problems. Why is the U.S. choosing to frame this as a Christian genocide? Do you think they're exploiting our Nigerians' current dissatisfaction with the governance? What do you make of this? And particularly, what do you make of Trump using Twitter as a means to talk to the Nigerian president when there are many other ways you can have diplomatic relations?
Yeah, that is President Trump of the U.S. Started just before, during his campaigns, adopted X, former Twitter, as his way of communication. A lot of people, even Americans, had expected that once he gets into government, he will follow the official channel of communication in government, but he has not done that, and he has continued the same way, which to the rest of the world, this is wrong. But of course, the president has chosen what he wants to do. The issue is for the Nigerian government to actually verify if this is actually in true state. Of course, since we do not have an active mission in U.S. as we speak, because since there's no career diplomat, career ambassador over there to be able to do some internal interface, though we have defense attaches and some other which can verify and report back to government. I'm sure this must have been done, and so we can take it to be a true official statement by the United States president. But the situation is looking as it is today. We need to be able to call a spade a spade. Just as I said earlier, we're having a lot of insecurity in the country, and the government must sit up to do more by supporting the security forces. Yes, one very good move has been made by bringing in injecting new firepower in terms of the leadership of the service chiefs, injecting new ones. Not that the former ones were not doing well, they were doing well. In fact, I will give kudos to them. But with these people coming with renewed vigor, they will take the fight further and do much better. But all the same, they need to support them with all they need. But let's look at it from the angle. Some people have said, has this United States, have they done much to actually support a Nigeria counterterrorism effort in terms of providing arms and supporting with arms? Nigeria has made an intent to get some equipment. Some were rejected, some were approved. And even those ones who were acquired from the United States, there are limitations on their usage. And that has also affected some of the operations that should have been done. And so a lot of reasons why this is coming up, I tell you, it's far from being issues of the insecurity or genocide against Christians in Nigeria. It's, like I said earlier, it's pure a politics issue that Nigeria government should get a set of diplomats that understand the workings within the United States and Africa to go into this situation and get it sorted out and present our true case to them. And that is what I would suggest. Meanwhile, our government should also intensify to ensure, make sure that we have active ambassadors in our missions, because today's United States, other countries could start up and would not have anybody to help to mediate on our behalf quicker than we are having now.
Indeed, Mr. Agabu, speaking of that, could you take us through the diplomatic ways? How should this have been handled if the United States are seeing this kind of insecurity challenge in another country? They have interest in Nigeria. What should have been the right channels and measures of communicating with the government of Nigeria to bring in some kind of help, support, backing, whichever be the case, to help that come to be? That's one. Two, could you take us through the assessment of our security structures? Because again, this borders around failure or inadequate ability to handle our security challenge in the country. Could you assess our security infrastructure? Where are we now?
Yeah, first, in terms of, we know for sure that some Nigerians had actually made presentations to the United States Congress far back. About one official of the government currently was one of those who spearheaded this issue when he wasn't in the government directly. He clamored for it, and I can tell you that some of his comments and his write-ups are some of the things that were being used against us today. So it's one of those things. We have had some people who feel agitated, other than the issue about the killing against Christians, on issue of what's it called, secession. We have had some of the people who are agitating for secession make some presentation to some congressmen in the United States, and so they have been collecting all these things. And just as they are collecting this, it should have been that our team, the Nigerian team in the United States, that's talking about our mission in the United States, would have been able to find out what is happening and what level it is. Even make some advice to the home country, that is to Nigeria, on how to handle it. You should have handled this in better behind closed doors before it comes to this. But unfortunately, just as some people would say, Nigeria, we are reactive in nature. We didn't take care of it before it happened. Yeah. And I expected that even if the government of the United States are not pleased with the killings in Nigeria, particularly, maybe in this case, the Christians, like the president of the U.S. said, he should have made a presentation to his colleague, president of Nigeria, what is happening, to get clarity. If he's not convinced, then he could pass memo to his Congress for actions or decisions to be taken before coming out with the threat that is coming up. But this is coming up with it. He came with the threat and was asking some congressmen to look into the matter. Then the next day is giving directive to the Department of War to react, do something to respond to the issue in Nigeria. So in this situation, the government of the United States didn't act according to laid down diplomatic protocols. But all the same, we are not to now be looking at the wrong channels. We are to look for how to solve this, because apart from that, this is not true. It's not true. Christians are not being singled out for killing. Yes, there are killings in the Middle Belt, in the Northeast, in the Northwest, in most parts of Nigeria, Southeast and South, and all that. Apart from maybe Southwest, there are not much of the killings. Other regions in Nigeria is being affected. That is the truth.
Exactly.
So if the United States is willing to assist to solve this insecurity, they could, by providing some intelligence, by providing some technology that could help the government to strike and be able to prevent all this.
But Mr. Patrick, let me come to you here. So I'm going to start this question with the fact that we cannot deny the fact that our president is doing a lot when we talk about security. We're not there yet, but we're getting somewhere. But what worries me right now is that the whole conversation is about proving to America that this is not happening, rather than looking about the insecurity. You have been speaking and you keep on saying that a lot of people are dying. You know, Christians are dying, Muslims are dying. So at this point, don't you think that as a country, we should try to resolve the insecurity rather than proving to another country that nothing of such is happening when people are still dying day in, day out? That's number one. And number two as well, there's been a conversation on social media if the president should actually go and have a conversation with Donald Trump, or he should come over here to have the conversation with him. But I quickly want you to touch on the fact that it's like we're trying to prove that nothing is happening with the Christians when Christians and Muslims are still dying in Nigeria.
Yeah, first and foremost, I would not advocate that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should rush to the United States to have a dialogue with any official or the President of the United States for now. We should, he could be embarrassed, really. We should rather have some backdoor discussions with some other level of government officials in the United States. Some people could have that. We could have phone conversation with the President of the United States, but not physically going. I don't know the rationale behind that arrangement for him to go, but I think that he must look at internally, get some facts within the country, and make some consultations internally and find out to see what is happening and what is the state of the security situation in the country before any foreign advances. So, but to answer you in terms of security, a lot is being done to take care of this insecurity that we're talking about. But like I still say, and I'll still say it, until all Nigerians put hands together, this insecurity will not be resolved. Some people are still doing business with this insecurity, and that is what is continuing to fuel it. I had a tour of about 2 months across the country, visiting the front lines, and I can tell you from what I saw, you understand, there are a lot of enablers from within us, the citizens, that are helping to fuel this insecurity. So we need to be able to agree that we want these things to be resolved. Until then, the security forces can do so much, but nothing so tangible could be achieved. And quickly, the state governors must take responsibility. As far as I'm concerned, in areas of security, maybe 1 or 2 of them, the rest has actually failed because they are detached from their communities, they are detached from their people, and their people are not feeling them as much. And so they remain in the capital cities. Most of the attacks we're talking about happens in the communities, in the rural areas. Some of them have not felt governance for some time. So these are the challenges we're having.
All right, Mr. Agwambu, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's fantastic to have you on the show this morning. I love your insights. You know, and at the end of the day, Nigerians have to just gather together, you know, because we cannot do it alone and we cannot just leave everything to the federal government. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. So now reactions have continued to trail President Trump's... Okay, so before we go to Abuja, let's have this conversation right here quickly. You know, I love the fact that he said something that made sense. We have a lot of enablers, and we keep talking about insecurity, but for me, I'll say that we're trying to prove that nothing is happening, but we cannot sit here and deny the fact that, you know, people are not dying, but Christians are dying, Muslims are dying as well. So I feel like this should be like a wake-up, it should be like a wake-up call for us, you know, to fix our insecurity.
Yes, in the process of fixing our insecurity, we have to be inclusive about it. I don't think we have sold it the need for us to nip this insecurity in the bud. The government has not sold it properly to the people because it has to be all inclusive, as he said. You know, if you sell a product very well, people respond to it the way you want them to respond to it. We're talking about just skip my memory now. Yes, still on. Okay, he was talking about state governors not doing enough. The state governors really can't do enough.
And so, remember when the state governor had said that he knows where the people are, but he cannot go ahead, you know, to do anything. So I feel like they themselves, they're actually handicapped.
They don't have legislative backing the need for them to rush into this thing.
Maria, sorry, let me jump in here. If we're saying that security is an all-inclusive project, which is the truth, all-inclusive by who? The Nigerians on the street or the Nigerians who have been appointed and elected and given the responsibility of making sure it works? You cannot come to the villages and expect that they would be the one to, you know, be inclusive to the extent of bringing protection. Yes, okay, by way of information, you know, that this one ran this one, that one. That's fine. However, they're not the ones to kill anybody. They're not the ones to pick up the guns. So that's not their responsibility.
I just have one statement to make, please. I just want to point out to all Nigerians watching out here is that who are you going to let decide what peace means for you, foreign powers or yourselves? And one more thing, Donald Trump is using our religious issue or what's going on in the country as a geopolitical weapon. It is our job to make sure that he does not wield that weapon. He does not fire that weapon against us because we all will be affected.
Yes,
it's our job indeed.
It's our job indeed. We should make sure that Nigeria is safe for every Nigerian to live, to sleep with their 2 eyes closed.